Hello everyone and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division in the Platinum Resorts tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go! We're going to start off with playing with the Rocket here, and as you can see the Rocket level 7 doesn't give us the most distance, but we do get the distance that is enough. We're going to slightly overpower here with the Rocket, and the reason I'm choosing the Rocket is to show you that there is a way to play a par 5 here in this tournament without having to use a club with a lot of distance. So, but in best case scenario, going to play with an extra mile in any level like level 2, level 3 would be better than the Rocket. You can also play with a quarterback max topspin, and don't use more than 5 bars of topspin in my opinion. Go with 2-3 bars to the right side with spin, so you do stay away from rolling to the left. You can also counter for hitting great to the left by doing so. That will prevent you from going into the rough or into the bunker there. The thing that we do want to stay away from big time is to go short in the rough or in the bunker. That will not make it possible for us to reach for the green in 2. So only focus to get there on the fairway. You can play with whatever power ball you want to, you're still going to be able to reach. You can see here with the Viper, even though we didn't reach that far, we're still going to reach for the spot that we want to. And we're going to go for the rough bump, going a max distance with our Viper here. Have in mind that this play is slightly uphill, so I would take away, I would add 5% to my, take away 5% on my adjustment due to uphill. And because always when we do play uphill, the ball is going to be less affected by the wind, and when we play downhill, the ball is going to be more affected by the wind. We did hit it great on the left side, which means that we're going to miss the hole there to the left, but no problem, we're still going to make that eagle. So let's go to hole number 2, and hole number 2 is a par 4, and we're still going to play with the Rocket here, and we're going to play with a Quasar. The reason we're playing with a Quasar here is that we do want to have the side spin for the second shot. Now we're going to play on the left side using the wind. First and foremost, this drive here is going to be affected more by the wind due to that we are playing downhill. So to your numbers, you're going to add 10% in your adjustment. And an easy example for that is that if you do have 4.3 miles per hour in wind, you're going to add 10% to the wind, which is going to be 4.8 in wind, which then is going to be the time for you to start your adjustment. Don't use more than 2 bars of topspin if you're going to try to bounce over the rough here, because if you're using more, you're going to have trouble to get the ball to stop there on the fairway, and going to fall down to the end of the fairway and be in the rough, and that is always going to be much harder than playing from the fairway, even though you might in some cases be in between clubs. So what do you do if you do not have tailwind? Then you play on the right side. If you did notice, or you can just rewind just a couple of seconds, then you will be able to see the right side that is definitely playable, and from that position you're going to bounce over the rough and the bunker part that you can see there in the center where my adjustment are there. So no problem if you do have headwind or crosswind, and also if you do have tailwind and don't feel comfortable going with overpower, then you can play on the right side anyway. So we're going to play with the Quasar here, and now for us when we're being in between clubs, it's basically just to get this ball to the green. I would love to have the Goliath here, that would give us a bit more distance, but now we only have the backbone level 6 and we can't do that much about it. So, and we're going to use max side spin. We're going to use 3 bars of backspin as well to get our ball to stop on the green. And now when we come to the green, you will be able to see a green that is very, very bumpy, and it's very tough to approach this pin from distance, but we do our best and play a nice shot there for shot number 2. So let's go to hole number 3, which is a par 3, and this is the first par 3, also a course of the Greenock Point. We're going to play with the Rocket here again, and we're going to play with max side spin to the right, and we're going to play with 3 bars of backspin. We're going to play the club as for being a minimum distance, but we're still going to add 20% to our adjustment. An easy way to do this is to play this shot in medium distance, then you don't have to add with 20%. Then you can just play it in medium distance and just play it as it is. We hit it great again, which is not good, and now we're going to come in a little bit too much to the right there on that fairway. which means that we're not going to get the kick that we do want to. We do use the left part of the fairway where it slopes the most to get that kick into the right, so we gain that distance combined with the power of the ball, so we do get that roll, so we come up towards the pin and fall down straight at the pin for a possible hole-in-one. While our opponent is taking the shot here, do not forget to check down in the video description down below, and you will be able to see the direct timestamp for the different holes in this playthrough. So if you don't want to watch hole number 1 or hole number 2 or hole number 3, then you can just click for the timestamp for hole number 7, and you will in that case be able to watch that. So you can see our opponent coming up high. That could be very dangerous, because if you don't have the enough speed coming down, then you're going to miss and you're going to get stuck on top there. So let's go hole number 4, and this is going to be one of the Southern Pines, one of the easier holes, I would have to say, if we do have tailwind. Now I'm going to play with a Marlin ball, and a Marlin ball I'm only using because I do have the extra level 7, so I want to reduce my distance, because I do suggest that you play with a power 3 ball on this particular course if you're playing in rookie, so you're not going to find yourself in a situation where you're going to have a problem to reach past the trees. If you do have a big topper, I think that is an excellent club to play on this particular hole. Then you just use max topspin and you just let the ball do the work. You don't have to overpower anything. So the thing that we are looking for here is that we do look for getting this ball past the trees there on the right, as you can see. That will give us an open shot towards the pin, and that would of course make the opportunity for the eagle much better. I'm not adding anything to this adjustment. I'm not adding anything for downhill, even though it looks slightly downhill, but then I do feel that the numbers is more accurate when we play just as it is. And our opponent here is having the extra mile level 8, and it doesn't give us... Yeah, it's of course not the club that you usually play with in rookie, but in the end, is going to definitely put him past the trees with a top spin, and with a basic ball, no problem to have a good opportunity for the pin there. So the second shot looks very easy, but to be able to go for the pin, we're going to have to go with both side spin and curl. And especially with the wind that we do have now, I'm going to play with a hammer at level 4 here and go with max backspin. I rather want to go with max backspin on my club than having to go with topspin, relying on 2 bounces towards the pin. I'm always lining up so my ball guideline is pointing to the right side of the pin, because having the ball guideline to put straight at the pin is going to put ourselves dangerously close to dropping down to the right. As you can see as well, I just adjusted down like 2 rings in the rough there, and as the rough is sloping so much down, that is going to change the trajectory that we do have, which is going to make it very hard to adjust for. That is why I'm using more curl instead of that, so we can basically do an under adjustment with our rings, but then using curl to push ourselves back towards the pin again, but that is basically done to prevent us from having a very tough time to adjust down in the rough or in the bunker there. The worst, absolutely worst case scenario here is that you're going to get stuck in the rough or in the bunker on the right, because that will make you have a very tough time with your wedge there, because then you need a ton of backspin to be able to get the ball stopped. Otherwise you're going to roll over the green with a Spitfire or a Malibu. With a Malibu or the Spitfire, choose the Houdini. That would be my suggestion for hole number 4. Hole number 5, we come to I would have to say the par 5 that there is the hardest time in the whole game to make an eagle, and that is of course not that fun. We love to being able to go for at least an easy eagle, but maybe an albatross as well. There is no chance from front tee and with the clubs that we usually have in rookie to be able to reach for the green in 2. So the thing that we're going to do is that we're going to play this one as a par 6. So we're going to actually go for a 4-shot course. The dangerous part you can do here is that you put yourself in the rough or in the bunker. So prevent that, you need to add 10% to your adjustment, because we're playing downhill. I play with the big topper here. giving myself more topspin. Even though my distance with the driver is lower, I'm going to still reach up to the top there of the fairway and going to have max topspin to put myself as far as possible on the next fairway. And I think that is a very good setup. And if you do have the big topper, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, 5, 6, 7, then you can play with it. It's the top spin that we are out after. So from this position, we do have two decisions to make, or like one decision to make about two options. We could either try to play ourselves up to the left side, as you can see there to the left side of the screen here. You can see the bunker. We can play ourselves there, and then we're going to have a wood shot towards the pin, which is going to be okay. This is not going to be a problem really, but we can also play straight forward, which is going to give ourselves a shot with a long iron or the short iron towards the pin. The problem we have on the right side is that we will have to bounce it on the fairway platform before the green, because we're most likely not going to have the backspin to make the ball stop directly when we go for the green. In this playthrough, I'm going to go very aggressively because I'm thinking like this: okay, I'm still not going to be able to reach for the green in 2. So if I put myself in the bunker or in the rough or on the fairway, it doesn't really matter because I'm still going to reach anyway, and it's still going to be a hard approach. So the thing that I'm looking for here is to find a way to go max overpower here and max curl with, not max curl, but one ball of curl, max side spin, max top spin, to try to get myself to first and foremost go over that part of rough, and then bounce over the bunker here and roll towards that next piece of fairway. But as you could see there, that is very tough to reach there with the clubs that we do have. I don't even think that with a Berserker we would be able to reach to that platform. So the thing that we need to decide for, either we're going to play as our opponent is doing here if we feel comfortable bouncing there, or we're going to choose club with a lot of backspin, like the Saturn, the Thorn, the Machete, clubs like that. So we're going to be able to go for the pin no matter where we are on the course. That goes the same for bunker, like sandwich club, if you're going to go with, like for an example, the Houdini, that do have a lot of backspin. So our opponent gets up there to the fringe, will be an easy birdie, but for us we're going to go for the pin as we are very close, and we do have a club with a lot of backspin, which is going to be the Machete. Machete level 7, and this backspin is definitely going to be enough. So we're going to aim up on the fringe. Have in mind that this particular shot is played slightly uphill, because we do have the green on a higher position than we do have the rough here where we are. So I'm not going to adjust this more, 4.1, and we're going to give myself like half a ring or something like that, and that is definitely under adjusted due to what the ring says. But as you can see, we're slightly uphill, which means that the ball is not going to be affected that much. Get in the hole for that eagle. Hole number 6, another course of the Milano. Now it's going to be a little bit easier for us on this part 3, and this is definitely in rookie in my opinion, and also in the other divisions, a decent opportunity for an hole-in-one. And this is a course that has been, I think this is maybe the 4th or the 5th time this course has been in any tournament. So there is a couple of ways to play it, but in rookie I would have to say that playing on the island there is definitely the safest way and the easiest way to gain a birdie first and foremost, but also giving yourself an opportunity to make the hole-in-one. So we're going to go with the backbone. I'm using a power 3 ball, so I'm going to use a power 1 ball, so I'm going to be in max distance of my club. Navigator it is. And with tailwind, I normally go with 3.5 to 4 bars of backspin, depending on how strong the tailwind is. So 4.5 is kind of in the between there, but I'm going with 4 bars, choosing that one to go with. I'm going with like 4 rings for the backbone here, and 4 rings is going to be a little bit too much. We are going to add 10% extra to this adjustment as well, because we're playing slightly downhill, and you can see we bounce nicely on the fairway there, but we're going to go short, and that just tells us that we're going to have too much backspin. We need to remove a little bit, or we need to take away a little bit in our adjustment. So we're going to go directly to hole number 6, and hole number 7. Hole number 7 here, we're going to play with the big topper. Why do I play with the big topper? It's because of the top spin. I don't have an extra mile on this account that is going to give me 5 bars of topspin, and I want to play with 5 bars of topspin because then I know that I'm going to have a good opportunity to bounce on the fairway over the rough on the top there. We're going to have to add 10% into our adjustment here because we're playing downhill. The big topper is going to be in max distance when we play, and we're playing with a power 3 ball, so we do not have to overpower. So we bounce it nicely there, coming in very nicely there with a little bit of tailwind, then that is going to be no problem to make that shot. But really have in mind that you need to add 10% to your adjustment because of the downhill play. There are so many players that are missing that and going into the water because of that. Because they try, especially also in this situation here, 4 bars of topspin. He knows that he is not going to be able to reach over over the rough, and then trying to overpower, and of course with that grade is not going to help. But the question is, what do we do if we do have headwind, or maybe some strong like headwind plus crosswind? Then we're going to play up to the right. We play a very safe and conservative drive, play ourselves up as close to the top of the right side, and have a wood club for the pin from that distance. Now, we're going to find exactly this spot here on the green, and this spot starts just after the uphill part that we do have in the beginning. Here I could go with like 1.5 bar of backspin. I'm deciding to not go with that model like 1 bar of backspin, and because otherwise we're going to come in hot. We're going with this what can I say, short iron. We are going to go in minimum distance, and we are not going to add anything for elevation whatsoever, as we're going to just play it as it is. So get in for an eagle, and I will have to say that I really do like hole number 7 in the tournament. I do believe that is going to be a key hole when it comes to getting that eagle on a par 4, but we do need to hit our shot perfect, otherwise we're going to have a big problem. So now we come to hole number 8, the last par 3 in the tournament here, and the thing that we're going to do here is that we're going to put ourselves up for a position on the left side. It might look very weird for us to adjust from the left side coming into the right. So as you can see, 8.8 with the Viper level 9, and max side spin with the Quasar. And I do suggest that you play with a club and a ball that do have first and foremost side spin, but second of all, when it comes to curl on the club, we're going to have the red ring just cutting the rough on the right, and we're going to have the bottom of the bunker on the right as a reference. 6 rings from this position, because we're going to play it as we would be in max distance of our club, combined with 10% extra because we're playing downhill. We're going to go with just a tiny bit of curl to the right. We hit it perfect, and I don't know if I said it, but I'm using 1 bar of topspin as well. We want to come up to the top there, let the ball come up to the hill and fall down for a nice and easy hole-in-one. Hole number 9, last but not least, hole number 9. And here I'm playing with the quarterback, and you might wonder why I do play with the quarterback here. I could easily pull off like an extra mile here, or I could play with another club as well and have an easier time to reach over the rough and the bunker here. The reason I'm playing with a quarterback is that first and foremost, I didn't know what type of wind that I'm going to have when I'm coming into this particular hole. And if we cannot reach over the bunker there, we're going to play conservative and lay up on the left side, and the quarterback is going to be a good club. But in a tournament, if we do know that we're going to have tailwind, then first and foremost I would be using a big topper if I have that one unlocked. Otherwise I will be using the driver that gives me the most distance, which is going to be the extra mile in this case. But the big topper is my special tip for hole number 9, and I hope you're going to listen carefully with that and really apply that to your game, because that is going to help us big time to make that eagle. We bounce over the bunker, try to gain as much distance as possible with our driver. From that position then, we're going to play with a wood club that gives us as much distance there as possible. So this is a perfect example in a way to choose the wrong clubs, with the wind that we're going to have. And we know in a tournament, if we do have tailwind for the first shot, then we're going to have tailwind for the second shot as well. And in a regulatory game, we don't know that. So then we kind of need to play it with the clubs that we do feel is best for the tour that we're playing. So now we're just going to bounce ourselves over the rough, give ourselves an opportunity with the short iron that we do have, because that is definitely going to be an opportunity for us to get an eagle from distance. And sure, if we would be cutting the rough, then we would be having no problem to reach even further and have an more easier attempt for the pin. So, but if I would be having, like for an example, a big dog, which would be the most excellent club in that situation, then I would be going over the rough with overpower. I would be using the top spin that I do have to bounce on the fairway in the rough that we do have on the left side of the green, having the ball to roll through the rough and give myself either an easy wedge, or I would be having a putt for the eagle. But have in mind when you come into this hole that this is not going to be a self-written eagle. This is going to be not as hard as we do have on the Milano par 5, but this is definitely going to be a hole where many players is going to miss and make a birdie because they picked the wrong clubs like I did, or they are going to miss their drive, they are not going to get over the bunker, etc, etc. So there's many things to do there, and we're going to have to wait to see the wind we're going to have in the tournament and really apply our strategy there. So be very careful with this hole and play it really as the wind tells you to play it. Headwind, crosswind, then we do not try to go over if we're not having a club with a distance for it. Tailwind, we always try to go over no matter what driver we have. So this was hole number 9, and this was the playthrough for Rookie Division in the Platinum Resorts tournament. If you do have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. And the text guides is out. If you do want to get the text guides already, sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy and you will get them in your inbox, and you can start practicing by reading them there. So thanks a lot for watching, and this video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Platinum Resorts tournament.